Hello dear tea friends from around the world, and welcome to a new tea class with me, Stefan Erler, from the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com boutique. I'm very glad that you are with me today because we have some really very exciting thing prepared for you, and especially for me. Hello. Well, the main guest of honor has not arrived yet, because as for any really very valuable and precious antique teapot, especially in Taiwan where earthquakes are quite often, we have to be very careful and to store antiques in such boxes. So, and when you take care of an antique, you also have really to be very careful about it and always use two hands. So I'm going to be a bit more focused now because I don't want to break it. Here would not be very stable, so I'm putting it on the side. I'm removing the lid of the box, and now very carefully with both hands, this is really important, with both hands I'm taking the teapot here. I'm going to show it a bit closer, but that's as far as I can go without losing my balance. And especially on this is a beautiful side with the Qianlong or lion. So I'm going to make the teapot go around. So right away from the color we can see it's the Sha color, and this one is a little bit special because it has some Qinghua decoration. It has been painted with white and blue. Okay, let me put it here very carefully. I'm closing the box so that I don't have to think about it. Okay, so today we have this special guest to help us brew a puerh, an ancient Sheng puerh, and this teapot, let's say a few words about it. It is a Qianlong era teapot, so from the 18th century. Now we're in the 21st century, so I think it's Valérie on Facebook made the remark that today I'm going to travel in time back 300 years, and I really like this idea. Thank you for suggesting it. Now, maybe you wonder how we know that it's such an old teapot, I must confess I don't have the expertise yet, or maybe I will never get it to be able to precisely say how old a teapot is, but luckily my tea master, Tea Parker, he has this expertise. Actually, he's even on TV very often to say if an object is old or not. In 99% of the cases they are not, but he's the one who identified this teapot as from this era. He also pointed that there are several clues to this. One, here are some marks, red marks below the teapot, and also here under the lid. You can maybe see a cross. These marks were made to identify the teapot when you burn it, when you fire it in a kiln, and that it doesn't mix up, and you know which piece goes with which piece. And this is a practice that was used in that time. Now, secondly, what is different from an old teapot and a new one? There are several things actually. One is maybe the most important actually, and this is something that you never get to experience when you go to a museum. It's the touch of the teapot. In a museum, it's really great. You can see old teapots, but you cannot touch them. And when you touch here the surface of this teapot, it's really very, very smooth, much smoother than a modern teapot, and that's because the way the clay was refined, it was raised for a longer time. Very traditionally, they really wanted to make the teapot really very, very smooth, and they achieved this. Okay, so I have my pad again so that I can see your questions. Today again, let me remind you, we are going to drink a tea together, you with me, but actually you will also get a chance to win a sample of this tea that I'm going to brew now by answering at the end of the class a question that I will ask. And if you're the first person to get it right, you will receive this tea sample. I will send it to you next week for free, of course, as a gift for watching this video with me. What else is important to say? For reasons of fairness, and to give the chance to a greater number of people to experience my teas, the person who won last week is not really allowed to play this week. Nothing against that person, just to make everybody give them a chance, an opportunity to win the tea. So please, Heidi, you did a great job last week, but this week we'll give it the opportunity to other people. So now you wonder, what are you going to win this week? Well, the tea that I've chosen is my most affordable, expensive tea. Or maybe to say it less crudely, it's a very nice aged puerh from the mid-80s that came from the Menghai Tea Factory. But it was not pressed at that time, and therefore these are loose leaves that have not been even sorted out. You know, before they used to make the tea cakes, the factories, they would sort by grades, by size, the puerh leaves, and then reassemble the different grades in according to the recipe that they wanted to do. Now this one is matcha tea that is just as is, that landed, or that they received and never used, and one day probably in the early 2000s, when the exchanges between Taiwan and Yunnan become more frequent, businessmen tea person in Taiwan purchased this whole bag of matcha and brought it back to Taiwan. And today, when I open this new bag, I'm getting to the end of my inventory of my stash of this tea. On top of the new bag, I saw this one. I don't know if you can see it. Really a very, very long stem. So you will also get some stems. And this really shows it's not sorted, and very, very long stem. Oh, hello Merv. Bonjour Valérie. Oh, really, Valérie, we got up so early from to be with us. Thank you for your effort. Actually, I'm going to make another video later on in French, but nice to have you with us. Now, okay, let's try to preheat. Now, how do we preheat such an old teapot? Well, of course, very carefully. Now, before I'm preheating it, one more thing about such old teapots. What is special about them compared to new ones is that on the inside, so that's why I do it before I preheat it, the inside is very rough. Not the clay is still very smooth, but here this is hexagon shaped teapot, so it's made of 6 rolls, 6 pieces of Yixing clay that have been kind of put together, one connected to the other, and the connection on the outside is really seamless. You don't almost see the connection. However, on the inside, it's, and just by looking at it, you can really see where the connection was made. And also with the bottom, the connection is strong, and with the top here, the connection is really very apparent. And in today's teapots, the teapot makers, they would also take pains to make the inside more smooth and beautiful. But in the old days, they considered, no, actually, you just look at the teapot from the outside. You don't care about the inside. So they leave these working marks as they are, but they only would work on the outside. Okay. Now, the other thing that helps us to identify the age of this teapot is the fact that it has been painted, and the paint here, the color shows really signs of change due to time. I've come across other similar painted Qinghua white and blue on Yixing Zesha, but the colors appear much more new, bright, shiny. Here there is a little bit it's sometimes a bit more dull, and this also helps us to identify that it's older. There are also some places where there are some traces of wear, and the spout is cut. That's also very fun. So also for the shape, hexagon, this is something we encounter less. It's still possible to make, of course, but we encountered it less. Usually what we encounter more are round teapots. Here the hexagon shape, and it combines also with the natural shape, because we have the spout that is shaped like a bamboo, and the where we hold it, and I have a memory blank, Parkinson, is shaped a bit like wood. The handle, okay, the handle, everything comes. Okay, how do we preheat such a teapot? Actually, very carefully, and also like with a new one, with on the outside. Oh, now as I put my the lid, it reminds me of yet another thing that is special. You may recall that a lot of Zesha teapots are a little bit dull in terms of sound. Now listen to this one. Now this sound is almost metallic. This really shows that this clay has been really very well refined and fired at a high temperature. And so really very nice quality. Okay, let's go. Now I'm using it quite often. If it were the first time to use such a teapot, I would advise using a little bit a lower temperature. Now you notice that I did not use really the just boiled. I've boiled it maybe 15 minutes ago, this water, and only now do I put the water inside. I'm not putting it all the top because I only have 4 cups. However, I'm going to boil my water again. This is gone. Well, okay, so if you have any questions, I'm there. Hello Elizabeth, hello Merv, hello Valérie. Okay. Now, now the pour is not seamless, maybe not perfect, but if you pay attention, it's okay. Now, some things need to be a little bit imperfect so that you get an opportunity to buy such a teapot. If it really were completely perfect, the person who had it before would not have sold it. Okay, so now this mid-80s Sheng puerh from the Menghai Tea Factory, and from the size we can see these are gushu. Now this is really the reason to make this match is that the Yixing is going to, since it's so old, actually it adds a feeling of the past, and we also have this feeling of the past in the puerh, so it's always a very interesting combination. So Merv asks if the cut spout was made on purpose. We can see it has not, that it's rather thick. Nowadays, here the spouts are quite thin, but here because also they wanted to give it a shape of bamboo, so it had to be more thick. And they did not really care to make it so beautiful. So maybe it's also a sign that in those times they did not, it was still the beginning of this technique of making teapots. So some things were not fully refined in terms of, especially of design of the spout, and that's why the water coming out is not that perfect. Okay. Okay, now, so I've poured really very slowly on the leaves. We'll see if this really adds to the finesse of the tea. Sometimes with aged tea, we can give them a bit more strength, but I like sometimes I also like them to be really very soft and very, very sweet, not necessarily so powerful. That's why pouring very softly will more enhance the finesse and the softness of the taste. I did not pour hot water on the teapot outside because this is tea that does not really emphasize the scent, the fragrance. So that's why I did not do this. Yeah, it's already a nice color. I remember the trick. If you are not so sure for how long to brew, you start with a little bit. If you see that the color is a little bit light, you can pause or pour very slowly to give the tea more time to brew inside the teapot. But if you feel that the color is actually good already, then you can pour out normally. Up. Sorry, we have some somebody at the door. Hopefully not too long. That's really live event, and you can see everything is not recorded. Okay, let me see this. Yeah, thank you for the orchids comment. Very smooth. Let me show you the cups and the brew. So we can see the color is dark brown, and it's not, but it's not black. Good transparency. So also another reason why I did not pour so strong, because these are loose leaves, not pressed pour. For pressed pour, sometimes due to the compression, it helps really to have a stronger pour to let the leaves open up. But here they were already open up because they were not pressed. So that's also why I did not use so much strength. And the taste tells me that this actually was a good way to do it, because it's really very, very sweet and soft, just like I wanted. Hop là. Okay. In a few minutes, you are going to get a chance to win a sample of this tea. This Menghai mid-80s loose sheng puerh of leaves that have not been sorted, and here this long stem. Just continue to pay attention so that you know how to answer. So we can see inside the leaves already opening up and already turning a little bit, some staying a little bit more dark, but some already turning green. And in order to make this really a trip in the past. The reason why I do it is because it's Christmas soon, so I'm also at the same time listening to Christmas music. I hope you'll do the same during this time. It sounds very sweet to my ears. It brings me back home. So I travel from Taiwan back to Alsace, just also with the memories of the music of the Christmas, and with the sweet smell and the sweet taste of the tea. It's also a travel in also in time to the sweet time when I was kid, and you get to eat more Christmas cookies during this Christmas time. Now the lion, is it a lion or is it a qilin on this teapot? Of course, there were no lions in China, so they had to use their imagination. But this one really, if you look on the blog, on the picture that I posted, is really very, very alive. Especially the eyes, they really look at you very intensely. This adds a lot of charm. The fact that it's not just painted, but some of the decoration, some of the flowers, are first almost in 3D and then painted on top. So this is also to put flowers that have a meaning, like here we have a plum flower. These are more chrysanthemum flowers. They have also their symbolic meaning for the Chinese symbols, good meanings, and it's the idea of putting all these symbols on the teapot is a way to add meaning to the tea drinking time that you spend, and also beauty. Now, for maybe some persons will feel this is a bit too much decoration. The Qing dynasty, especially when at the end, used to do a bit over decoration, over the top, but it really does have its charm. And since I am a Leo, I really felt it interesting to have this lion looking at me, looking back at me. Very nice. How were painted the wonderful blue flowers? So it was painted by hand, just like a Tsinghua porcelain. Here, did it cover on top? So it had to be fired a second time. First, they fired the teapot without the paint, and then they would paint it and then fire it a second time, but a bit at a lower temperature, because these animals did not need to be fired at such a high temperature. And what I like also, this wood, this handle is a bit shaped like a wood. especially possible to sit on this side. Here it's a bit almost like carved like wood, and so it's not so smooth here, but this rough place actually helps to hold the teapot very well. It's in terms of holding the teapot, actually I hold it very easily, despite this being a rather large teapot and being so old. I feel very comfortable at holding this teapot compared to some of the most modern teapots. Actually, here there's really a lot of thought into this handle, in the fact that it will be how it will be used and how it will be held by the hand, and how it is in harmony with the rest of the design, especially the fact that it's a little bit like it makes you think of wood, whereas the spout is also shaped like bamboo, so also like wood, and also the knob. So it's not really a knob on top of the lid, but this one is also shaped more like a branch, and therefore it's really one. There is harmony in the shape of these three elements that are very important: the spout, the lid with the knob, and the handle. When you look at a teapot, very often the shape of the body of the teapot is round, or here it's hexagon, so it's actually here is already much more special. But the three special points of most teapots are the handle, the knob of the lid, and the spout. These are three focus points where you have to look at if it's really in harmony or not. This is where the artistic value or artistic feel of the teapot really is there or not. Okay, let's do a second brew so that you can see how it goes. Well, I have a little bit left. Even cold, it's quite nice. Okay, thank you for your comments. What else can we say? So, in order to put me in the past, I've also used a pewter plate under my Deroy cups, and a mini plate for the lid, and a Qing Dynasty plate for my leaves. So, and of course a larger Qinghua plate for the teapot. All these three are from the Qing Dynasty, the same as with the teapot, but probably the teapot is the oldest item here on my charshi. The Menghai mid-80s puerh still has a nice long aftertaste, still present in my throat. Now, what is also touching to use a Qianlong era teapot is to think that Qianlong, he reigned already before the US became a country, and this emperor was very much into arts and into antiques. In the National Palace Museum, there are a lot of items that were either created for Qianlong or for which Qianlong made some comments. He even had some poems written on some Song Dynasty artifacts, just to say how much he liked this artifact. So he did not it's like I would carve my name now on this teapot to say, oh, it's really a beautiful teapot. I question it Leo. So out of respect, of course, this is not something I would do, but as an emperor, he had less qualms about putting his names on antiques, and that's also how we know that he had really strong relationships with his collection, because he even had a book made about each item in his collection, maybe of some items in his collection, and painted. So from this book we know better the items that were already in the National Palace Museum during his reign. Now the second brew is more fragrant. And still very sweet, because I also poured very slowly, but you could see that I did not pour so long, so actually it was enough. Now, when it's hot, of course, you have to be even more careful when you touch it and when you handle it. But then the skin of the teapot is even smoother and feels even more human-like, because it's warm. And in this teapot, there's one place where the the clay is very thin. It's at the bottom of the pot, in the middle of the bottom, and it's really amazing how thin it is when you touch it from outside and inside. It's so thin, you wonder how it's physically possible to be so thin, and that's why also you have to be very very careful when you handle such a teapot. But this also adds to to what makes this special. This thickness or thinness here in the teapot is not always the same, and in these walls around it's not so thin, but at the bottom it was really made very very thin, so very amazing. Here for the spout or for the handle, it doesn't look thin at all. The lid also is actually quite thick, but the bottom is so thin. It's very it adds to the makes it feel so fragile. Okay, I start to ramble. Need more tea. Okay, now thank you for enjoying this. I hope you've enjoyed this little brew with me. We are coming now to the conclusion of this. Well, it was not really a class. It's more a sharing of Yixing teapots because I've already made 2 videos in the past about Yixing Zesha. One more for beginners, a little bit. The second one more for advanced. And somebody had suggested that I show my collection of my private collection of Yixing teapots. So instead of just showing it, I thought with this format, it's you will even enjoy it more if I show you that it's possible even to brew tea with teapots that are precious and old. They are not just made to be put on a shelf and looked at, but actually they can even still be used and make very, very delicious tea. This is maybe also what I should add. The taste is so pure. It's so in harmony with the time. It's because even Sheng puerh can feel sometimes a bit rough. That's why we age it, and mid-80s starts to be old. But I've had the privilege of drinking some from the 20th, from the 1920s, so 100-year-old puerh, and of course it's much smoother than a 40-year-old puerh. But the fact of using this teapot really adds to the smoothness, adds to the refinement, and easily can add 20-30 years of age to this tea. If you don't know this tea, you brew it in a gaiwan, and then I put it in this teapot. You will think, oh, this tea is now 20 or 30 years older than it appears to be when compared to a gaiwan or maybe a more modern teapot that is not so well chosen. Does not mean that you have to use an old Zesha teapot to brew your old puers, but if you have, you should. Okay. So yes, if you want to have more information, you can go back to these classes on my YouTube channel about Yixing Zesha, and you can see this teapot more precisely on my blog, Tea Masters. There's a little window on top to make searches, so you can click maybe Qianlong teapot or Qianlong Yixing, and then you should be able to find this teapot. Okay, now let's get ready for the question. I'm looking at the comment section. The first person to give me the correct answer to the following question is going to win an 8-gram sample of this tea. Now, I say this tea because now I want to ask you, where does this tea come from? What's not the well, it comes from a company. From which company does it come from? Yes, I'm waiting for the first person to answer. Okay, Merv, you are the winner. You answered Menghai Tea Factory. I let this stand. Congratulations. Thank you for participating. Thank you for attending this live brewing of my mid-80s loose Sheng puerh from the Menghai Tea Factory, and it was brewed in a Qianlong era Yixing hexagonal shaped Qinghua painted teapot with lion flowers and shaped with a bamboo and handle with log shaped. Thank you very much. I wish you a pleasant holiday time. Brew well and see you next week. Bye bye.